It is time to touch our bags and drop our sacks on this edition of the Kansas City Chiefs Report. Tyler Jones here with you. Thanks for joining us. It is mailbag time. You got questions. I got answers. I've already taken a bit of a sneak peek in the mailbag today. Some of you guys are asking me about Romeo Doubs. I've seen James Conner. We'll answer all your questions starting right now. Let's begin with my guys, Buck and Bob. I'm a big fan of Buck and Bob. They do a great job talking about the Kansas City Chiefs on their show. And they sent me this $5 super chat. And here's what they had to say. This has been my favorite offseason in memory. We went into the draft actually being able to take the best player. It's just been so awesome. Great point. Absolutely a great point. I saw ESPN this past week said the Chiefs had the best offseason of any team in the NFL, that they came out better than what they were at the end of 2024. And with all the circumstances that were in front of this Chiefs team, when you factored in moving on from Joe Thuney, and it seemed like they weren't going to have the money for Trey Smith and Nick Bolton, and they found a way to keep those guys, and then they had a fantastic draft. I think Brett Veach did a phenomenal job with this offseason, and the faces may have changed, but the expectations don't. The Chiefs are the favorites to win the Super Bowl again, and I think that they are in well position to get right back to the top in 2025. I'm with you. Great offseason. Great job done by Veach and Andy here. Another $5 super chat from my guys Buck and Bob. They say this: of all the rookies, who is most likely to start? Don't add injuries to the equation. I think Noah Williams has the best chance. I like Noah Williams. I really do. And I think he has a pretty good chance to start. But the answer for me is the first-round pick in Josh Simmons. Because Josh Simmons has the chance to start at two different positions. He could start at left tackle, or he could start at left guard, either one. And I think he's better than Kingsley. And whether it's the left tackle spot or the left guard spot, one of those two positions will go to Josh Simmons. Now, with that said, it's not going to be given to him right away. He has to earn it in training camp and in the preseason, but I think he will. And I would be surprised if he's not starting right away. Noah Williams has got some tough competition at the corner spot. Jalen Watson is still around. Christian Fulton is there. Not saying he can't, but he's got his work cut out for him. But I would lean towards Josh Simmons at this point in time. Folks, want to make sure not only you're subscribed to the Kansas City Chiefs Report, but also you're part of the Noti Gang. Those are the folks that have their notifications turned on, and they're the first to know when we have new content here on the channel, whether it's a live show, breaking news, or our daily news and rumors, whatever it may be. So stop whatever you're doing, subscribe to the channel, hit that Noti bell, and turn on notifications. That way you are the first to know when we have new content right here on the Chiefs Report. Subscribe now for free, youtube.com/ChiefsTV, and join the Noti Gang. If you're part of that Noti Gang, spam Noti Gang in the comments section, and we'll continue with today's show. Casey Fan for Life says, could the Chiefs trade for Romeo Doubs? So Romeo Doubs is a fascinating case study here because the Packers have been shopping him. He's had a decent start to his career. I don't know why the Packers aren't necessarily too pleased with Romeo Doubs. Maybe it's just the fact that they don't want to pay him long term. But considering where they picked him and the production that he's put together, I think he's been fine. Will Romeo Doubs ever be a superstar in this league? Definitely not. But I think he's a solid. He is a good receiver who you can see had nearly 700 yards in 2023, had over 600 yards in 2024. His average has been anywhere from that 10 to 13 range. I think he's been pretty good. With that said, I think the Chiefs have taken care of their receiver issues. Bringing in Jaylen Royals. You're going to get Rashee Rice healthy. Hollywood Brown is back. Juju's there. Xavier Worthy coming off a really good rookie campaign. I think you're just fine. I think that if you're going to bring in outside help, I don't think the receiver position is a priority at this point in time. I think you're fine. This is not a knock on Romeo Doubs. I think he is a talented player, but I just don't think you need him at this juncture. Now, your chance to be the GM here on the Kansas City Chiefs Report. Should the Chiefs trade for Romeo Doubs? Type T for trade. P for pass. Weigh in our pinned comment today. Your chance to be the GM. Let us know what you think. T for trade, P for pass. Today's show is sponsored by Prize Picks. Prize Picks is the place to go for daily fantasy made easy. Here's how it works. Choose 2 more players on any given category. Get the choice of more or less, whether you're talking fantasy points in football, rebounds in basketball, goals in hockey, home runs in baseball, all sorts of different categories to choose from. Cash in on the basketball playoffs with Prize Picks. Don't miss your last chance to add your favorite players from the court to your Prize Picks lineup. Whether it's points, rebounds, assists, take your pick of more or less for your shot to win up to 2,000 times your cash today. Turn your playoff hot takes into tickets to basketball's championship series. Starting with the play-in round, every lineup you make on Prize Picks will enter you in the Takes 2 ticket sweepstakes, which could get you and a +1 a VIP trip to the ship. Prize Picks is the best place to win cash while watching sports. Join millions of users and sign up today. I'm already looking ahead to the start of the football season on Prize Picks, folks, as I'm going with our guy, Patrick Mahomes, to have more than 3,924.5 passing yards, and I'm also rolling with Sam Darnold of the Seattle Seahawks to have more than 3,475.5 passing yards. If I put $20 down, both those hit. That turns into $60 on Prize Picks. Download the app today. Use code CLNS to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code CLNS to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. The link is in the comments and description of today's video. Prize Picks, run your game. Richard writes in, did Jared Casey from KU get invited to rookie minicamp? If so, what are your thoughts on making the team? So I would know Jared Casey as well as anybody as a Kansas Jayhawk myself. I'm a big fan of Jared Casey. One of my favorite memories of my entire football life was when Jared Casey caught the game-winning score against Texas with a 2-point conversion play many years ago, much to the chagrin of Big Tex, but he's had better memories since, so don't worry about Big Tex. He's okay. But Jared Casey, it's a great story. He turned that into an NIL deal with Applebee's, had a good run with KU. Then he ends up getting signed as a UDFA by the Chiefs. But I'll be real with y'all. Jared Casey's a great story, but he's not an NFL player, okay? I mean, let's face it. He's a decent blocker. He's an okay pass catcher. Jared Casey's going to forever be a KU legend, but he's not what you're looking for in the National Football League. I'll be frank. I wish him nothing but the best. It's not personal, but Jared Casey, no chance. No chance he ends up making this roster here for Kansas City. He'll be selling life insurance or something sometime pretty soon. Chiefs are best writes in. Could the Chiefs trade for James Conner? James Conner is an interesting idea. The former Pittsburgh Steeler turned Arizona Cardinal has kind of had a resurgence of sorts in Arizona. Back-to-back 1,000-yard rushing seasons, 8 touchdowns last year, 7 touchdowns the year before. James Conner, it was odd that things didn't work out in Pittsburgh and they got better in Arizona. Typically, these running backs don't get better with age, and if it doesn't work out in their first contract, it usually doesn't get better at their next location, but that's a bit different for James Conner. With that said, James Conner, although he's been solid, I have said this before, and I'll say it again. The running back room's fine. Pacheco, Hunt. I think Rashard Smith is going to be solid. You don't need to spend anything in this running back room. You don't need to give up assets. I'm out on the idea of James Conner. Cardinals might move him, but he doesn't need to be moved here. Should the Chiefs trade for James Conner? You got 2 options here. Type Y for yes, in for no. Chime in the comments section. Tell us if they should trade for James Conner or not. Paul writes in, who are you excited about regarding Chiefs minicamp standout rookie Jaylen Royals? I think he means to say, what are you excited about him? What's not to like? He's got great speed. He's got great hands. He can stretch the field. I mean, there's a ton to like about Jaylen Royals. I think he's going to be a natural fit in this offense. I think Patrick Mahomes is going to be a big fan of his. As long as he stays healthy, and he did have a bit of an injury issue at Utah State, sky's the limit for Jaylen Royals. And the other thing, too, With the addition of Jaylen Royals means you don't have to keep Sky Moore around either. It's a big upgrade. I'm excited. Can't wait to see what he does. I thought he did really good at rookie minicamp. He was kind of taking it all in. He had some good moments there. Jaylen Royals, I think, is going to be a fine football player. Carl writes in, why pick up Walker or Njoku? Don't we have the equivalent of them on the roster? So what Carl's referring to, we had a video earlier in the week. There were some rumors out there about potentially bringing in Kenneth Walker or David Njoku. Look, let's start out with Walker, then we can go to Njoku here. Walker, I'm concerned about the injuries, and I think the running back room's fine. Njoku, I think, is one of the most overrated players in football. He's only had one season with 800-plus receiving yards. Would he make your tight end room better? Sure. But the idea of him being this long-term solution, his best days very well could be behind him at this point. So do you have the equivalent? Maybe not. But I think that if you're going to make a trade, you're better off with some other ideas than wasting capital on those guys. Last question, Buck and Bob checking back in. Say Trey Smith in a long-term deal and we get some more money. What position would you try to grab a big-time free agent? Ooh, that's a good question. So let's think here for a second. Are we I assume we're talking next offseason at this point, because this offseason I think is pretty well set. That your roster pretty much is what it is. But next year you'll need to invest in the tight end spot. I think you're fine for now with Kelce and Gray for this year. But next year you'll want to invest in that tight end spot after Kelce's likely gone. That would be one I would look for. The receiver position, think about that. Is Rashee Rice going to get a second contract? Remember, he's got a lot of legal bills to pay. I'm not trying to make a joke here. I'm being dead serious, folks. Like, he's got a lot of legal bills to pay. I don't know if he's going to take a discount for Kansas City. I think he might want every dollar he can. And so, with that said, are you going to need to invest in the receiver position after Rashee Rice potentially? So, yeah, a receiver of sorts, a tight end or a wideout, I think might be your best option if you're going to spend big money in the future there. For continuing Chiefs coverage, subscribe now to the Kansas City Chiefs Report, youtube.com/ChiefsTV. I'm Tyler Jones. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you next time.